nervous every time. But that's fine. That's okay. All right. So it says live, and it looks like one person is here at least. So yeah. Do you wanna talk about what you're gonna work on?
I didn't really know if there was anything particular you wanted to do today or try. I've got this very happy piece here that I did just to show you a different style. If you wanted to do something with words, you can take this one of two ways. You can either take this as, very bleak, or our family of people choose to have family. Is the message behind this, I believe. People talk about blood like it's the elixir of all things magical, and it's, in my opinion, just a liquid, like custard.
Yeah. Like custard.
So yeah, there's
the
different
custard at least will
neurographic
taste good.
styles. Yeah. Oh god, unless you're a vampire.
That's true.
So yeah, if you can either do like a neurographic style, just like we did before, or there's you can write a message and then just do lines over it like that, or you could even do a picture of a dog. Like there's lots of different styles that you can do. So I didn't know if there's anything that you wanted to try.
Well, I have an idea for something I'd like to try, kind of like a technique, but I need to paint a background for it first. So I was thinking I'll start with painting a background, and then I'm gonna continue on this one that I did last time because it's not done yet. Or maybe I'll start a new one. That's what I'm thinking.
Do you have acrylic paints or watercolor paints?
I have acrylics.
Acrylics. Okay. Yeah. I like that idea. I like that idea a lot. So yeah, I'll get out a canvasy. We'll get painty. I'll get my thingy on. I'm feeling it. One moment, I'll leave you on this.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. So it looks like there are two people watching, but if somebody could just post something in the chat, because I can't seem to see the chat. There's only one person. I wonder why I can't see it.
I've just popped something in the chat quick.
Oh, now I can see it. Okay. Well, good. At least I know it's working, and then now I won't worry about it anymore.
Okay, so painty.
Yeah. My daughter paints a lot. I don't paint that often. I kind of like the idea of it, but I don't really practice it. And I had this, when you first emailed me about doing the paint and ponder, I was like, what am I going to paint? And I had this idea, but I'm so insecure about if it will be anything good or not. So I haven't dared to try it. But after last time, I'm feeling a little more like, you know what? I can just try it.
Yeah, the best thing about painting is you know, the worst thing you can do is want to start again, and you just paint over it.
Yeah. Exactly. So, but yeah, it needs a background for the idea that I have to work. So I'm just gonna paint the background now, and then it's gonna need to dry. So I'll just start there and we'll see what happens.
Did you want to do a neurographic style over the top, or have you got an idea in mind that you just want to paint out?
I have an idea to paint something over the top.
Nice.
I don't know if it will work, if my idea will work, but I'm gonna try. Yeah.
I'm feeling like something spacey themed.
Oh, like galaxy spacey themed?
Yeah, I think so. Ooh, sorry for that noise. Excuse my paint pot here.
I've been thinking about like weather. Whenever I think about painting, I think about I wish I could paint the weather, but I don't know how do you catch the weather on a canvas. I know a lot of artists do it brilliantly, but I don't know how.
I think I would tap into your maternal roots and go for texture. You could have a real fun play with texture for weather, like sand
Yeah.
or cotton wool.
Oh,
You could even use like you know what, you get some of the fruit in those bags. You could put that in if you do like a fishing, like a beach scene.
yeah. I saw this guy on YouTube who paints using piping bags, as in like the type of piping bag that you use to decorate like cakes and cupcakes and stuff. But he just fills them with acrylic paint, and then he pipes out the paint and lets it dry. So it's like 3D, and yeah, it's really cool. He does like hanging wisterias, or at least I don't think he only does that, but that's the one I saw.
Yeah, there's so many creative people, and sometimes I just feel spoiled by all of the ideas on the internet.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's I quite like sort of the dot art that I do, and there's someone who does like these blobs, but he does like the most intricate paintings with thousands of these blobs, but you get some like really uniform and
Yeah. I don't think I would have the patience for that. I like doing big strokes, like when I paint. But that is kind of like the idea that I have that I want to try out as a technique of doing like just like dotting with the pencil.
yeah.
Pencils.
I find if something's like repetitive that I can get muscle memory into, then it just lets your brain switch off.
I thought of that. I get kind of like OCD about it being perfectly uneven. Like it's not supposed to be perfect, right? It's supposed to be messy. But then I get like OCD, like I'm like, but is it uneven and messy enough? Or does it look deliberate? It's supposed to look messy, but it's looking deliberate. Or like, yeah, I just get like all up in my head about that.
Are you much of a gardener? Do you enjoy gardening?
I love plants. I have quite a fair number of plants as well. But I wouldn't say I'm a success.
Yeah.
Oh, hello, you in the chat. I tried growing spinach on my balcony. I put in like 2 months of work and I got like a handful of spinach. Yeah, so I wouldn't say I'm a successful gardener. And I have a lot of plants in my office. I just like I need that life there, to light it up a bit. And
Yeah.
and everybody at the office thinks I'm brilliant with plants just because I have so many, and most of them survive and thrive. But I also have like periods of depression where I forget about my plants kind of. And so yeah, the weak ones are culled from the herd, so to speak. The sensitive kind of plants that you can't forget to water for a week at a time. They don't live very long in my place.
Yeah, I need the
But
like the snake plants.
Yeah. Although, funnily enough, when it's plants that are like, no, like this is a beginner plant, you can't kill it. That's the type of plant I tend to murder. Weirdly, like ivy. It's called murgrön in Swedish, and it's supposed to be like super hardy. You could put it anywhere, and you can forget about it. Yeah, they just die at my place for no reason. Like I don't know why.
Yeah, they're meant to be quite hardy.
Yeah. Not with me.
Yeah, the plants, it needs to be a joint effort here. Like we both need the will for you to live. You need to help me out. We're in this together, plant.
Yeah.
Well, if you ever fancy growing something from seed, I was saying to Rika that loofah is pretty easy to grow if you're in the right circumstances and the right climate. And you can use them for sponges and for like art supplies.
Yeah.
You get good textures with those. You get like sea sponge texture.
Right. Don't they look kind of like big, massive cucumbers until you dry them?
Yeah.
That's so cool. I always
And
thought
they
they
grow
came from
pretty
the ocean.
easy. No, they just look like big courgettes and they grow like on a vine.
Yeah. It's so cool.
You get so many seeds out of them. You just keep if you can grow them, then you can just keep on growing them because they have so many seeds in them.
Yeah, I found out I should have taken. Apparently, the reason why my spinach failed is they were in too sunny a spot. I get a lot of sun on my balcony, and so basically they started flowering instead of growing leaves, and it's the leaves you eat. But they were spending all their energy on flowering instead. And, yeah, and I didn't know, but I could have like picked seeds from that probably and grown more if I had known what I was doing. But I gave up on them too quickly, maybe.
I think you've got to fail a few times, and especially with sort of the changing climate and seasons. Even if something says, I've been at the allotments with people who've been there for 40 years in the exact same allotment, so they know the soil, they know everything, but their planner guides don't work anymore because the seasons are so different.
Yeah.
So I think just
Yeah.
everything's worth a try.
Yeah. Mm. I actually have a bunch of flowers here today.
Oh, that's pretty.
Some roses. I always buy a little bouquet to myself when I have my period.
Oh, that's sweet. Have you seen, Inside Out? Inside Out. Yeah, the movie.
Yeah.
There's part 2 coming
I
out.
saw it like when it came out. Yeah.
Yeah, part
I
2's
haven't seen
coming
part
out soon, I think.
soon. Okay. Yeah, I gotta see that. My daughter really liked it when we saw it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've done a background now. This is it.
Yep.
And now I'm gonna let that dry. And I'm gonna go over to my piece that I did yesterday. So I filled this all in with the kind of colored pencils that you can go over them with water and they change. It's going to look like paints.
Oh, nice. I'm going to hope that dries there. I finished the other neurographic piece I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
I did. I started another piece. Just of 2 silly gooses. If we can see that.
Ah, I really like those colors.
Thank you.
Oh, look at them. And one's flying away. Oh, that's really cute.
Yeah, it was because I'm a sucker for a couple who are like a silly goose, and like friendships, and Natalie and Tony just reminded me of 2 silly gooses. And when she said they
Yeah.
were going blah 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 blah, I thought they'd do this piece and have a good old cry.
Yeah.
And get that out. And I just thought that's my homage, I guess.
That's beautiful.
Well, I've dropped the ball on uploading pictures, but I will be. If anybody wanted a copy of anything, just email me and I'll send you a picture, a high quality picture if you wanted to get it printed out.
That was gorgeous.
Thank you. I don't know what to do. Well, that's drying. Oh, you're going to finish off your piece from.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go over it with just water.
Yeah.
Cause like you can see it's colored pencil.
Yeah.
But if I go over it with water, it's gonna look like paint.
Yeah. The
Or-ish.
watercolor pencils.
Yeah. They're kind of my favorite because they're so easy to work with. And
Yeah.
I like watching the change when I go over them with water.
Okay, I think I'll do.
I'm just gonna get some water.
There's one I painted earlier.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I actually think I've got one. have. Oh, here's me thinking I was prepared. Absolutely not.
It's been a rough week.
Oh, hasn't
So
it just?
we're cutting, yeah, we're
This is
cutting
the
ourselves some
one.
slack today.
That's the one, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, that's when you started last time.
Yeah, we found you. Yeah, I think I'm going to do some lines. We're going to do some lines. I was going to ask you, when you were growing up, did you do anything that was like STEM behavior? So for me, I think I did a lot of this to just self-soothe and regulate myself.
Right.
I wondered if you had any sort of stims and how they were sort of viewed or
I did this.
received.
I did this
Fidget.
a lot, like with a pen, yeah, or clicking on it. I think I was pretty good at hiding it for the most part, and also like I mean, we were a lot of kids to not a lot of adults. So most of the time we were kind of invisible. But when the kids started acting up, especially if like a lot of them were acting up, and especially when we were younger, like, 7, 8, 9, then they would have us do TRs to calm us down. And you can't do any fidgeting in TRs. So I think that was kind of like, yeah, if you're doing TRs, you have to sit perfectly still. You can't fidget at all, or it's a flunk. And I think that kind of like beat it out of me, so to speak, for the most part. I get, like, as an adult, I wouldn't say I fidget that much. I do fidget. Maybe not that much, but when I get overwhelmed, then it gets really bad. And I get like my legs kind of start dancing.
Yeah. Restless leg syndrome.
Yeah. Like I went to a conference not that long ago, and it was like 500 people, and I haven't been well, except like maybe going to like a concert or a movie. I haven't been in a conference setting or that kind of like everybody's. I mean, if you go to a concert, everybody's there and having a good time, and you can move around and you can dance around, and that's fine. But I was at a conference and it was like 500 people, and it was just so many people, and it was people standing up on the stage talking, and everybody else was like, in work mode, but listening. And I just got like all these crazy like fidgeting in my legs. I can hear myself in your background.
Okay, sorry. Is that better?
Yeah, that's better. Anyways, I got this intrusive thought that I had to take off my shoes. And it just got so bad that I ended up just walking out. And I told my boss, I'm having a panic attack and I have to go out.
Yeah, so if you don't release that tension, it's like your body switches off. And when you were speaking about being in the TRs and not being able to fidget, that I don't think that fixed the fidgeting. I think that forced you into a fawning response, which then left you without tools to self-regulate, which is just heartbreaking to do to anybody, let alone a child. And that should never have been done to you ever. I'm sorry it happened. But finding those things that they'd really make a difference. And part of me learning and understanding, and when you have family who are also neurodiverse and you can be accepting and loving of their quirks, I think it helps you when you have that diagnosis later to then be more accepting of yourself. So if I'm out and I need to fidget or stim, I will do it. And I literally do not care who looks. I don't care if anyone says anything. I don't care if anyone laughs or roll their eyes. I will do this a lot. I'll just rub at my thumbs. Or I'll just take a fidget out. I'll have like a fidget snake or a lizard, and I'll fidget with it. And I literally do not care. I have such limited energy.
It takes a lot of energy to keep that under wraps, so to speak.
Yeah.
Like just when you feel like you need to fidget and then you're trying to force yourself to not fidget, that takes an insane amount of energy.
Yeah, so me not fidgeting for the amount of time is the same as you doing a squat for that amount of time. So if you think, would it be hard for you to squat for an hour? Then yes, it's hard for me to not fidget for an hour.
Yeah.
So I can't. Yeah, the TRs just sound like, and it's psychological warfare because if you fail, you start again.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy because like it's just recently that I've started thinking about the TRs as being harmful. Like when I first woke up, I was like, okay, a lot of the abuse that, like, a lot of the yelling and the punishments and the sleep deprivation and stuff like that was abuse. But I never like considered that TRs were. And I'm kind of like waking up to that, how abusive the training routines were. Every time I think about it, I feel like I peel off another layer of how messed up that was. How messed up it is to do TRs, like what it does to your mental state. I actually sent a YouTube video of the demonstration of TRs to my therapist.
Yeah, I can imagine that'd be really helpful.
Yeah. I think Mark Bunker has it on his channel, where there's Jesse Prince and some lady in the Lisa McTrust. I don't remember her name in the Lisa McPherson Trust.
Yeah.
They demonstrated doing TRs, and I sent that to my therapist. And then that session, after she had seen it, we were talking about lots of other stuff because I almost always have other stuff to talk about to begin with. And then I was like, "Oh yeah, did you see the video I sent you on the TR?" She was like, "Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw it." And I was like, "Yeah, well, what do you think?" She goes, "Well, what do you think?" And I was like, "I think it might have been not good for me." She was like, "Oh yeah."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's hard when because you justify so much in your head, rationalize stuff, especially stuff that happened when you were
Yeah.
younger. And I know a lot of
Yeah.
stuff that happened to me. I feel like I went through a phase of being like, well, I'm glad that happened because it made me a good person. It made me empathetic. It made me make sure I'd never ever hurt anyone like that. But then you need to come
Yeah.
around again and then be like, yeah, but it actually wasn't okay and it was actually very abusive.
Yeah. And also, you can become a loving and empathetic person without being subjected to trauma and abuse as well.
Yeah. This is what I said when
I
I
think
was
that,
speaking to my friend Luke. I said, you know, do not get me wrong. I'm not saying there are no good parents in Scientology. I'm saying they're good
yeah.
parents despite Scientology,
Yeah.
not because of at all.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that made me think of my mom. Yeah, Alexandra has a good comment here. I agree so much with that. Someone said something like, but it also made you who you are. And I said, yeah, makes me thankful to me, not my predator. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so I'm not pretending to be any sort of expert on anything and I have very limited social skills anyway. But from what I've observed from the writings of L. Ron Hubbard,
Hmm?
is anything that is at all successful or logical has been plagiarized.
Yeah.
Like you can tell it's authentic if it's gibberish, just fantasy gibberish. Yeah, Aaron all day, every day. But
Yeah.
the stuff like the TRs, I feel like that's come from his time in the military and just psychological warfare, control, how to control the masses, which is just disgusting. To say, oh, this is how we're going to treat people. Also, side note, no such thing as children. Like, what?
Yeah. Yeah. And um someday I'll probably do a video about the only two things I found helpful in Scientology. Because I really like when you're waking up, you have to like deconstruct everything and you have to pick apart everything. Like, what do I think about something and why do I think that? And is it because of what I was indoctrinated, or is like, do I still believe that, or stuff like that? And a lot of people ask, like, okay, well, like, what's the silver lining? And I kind of get really pissed off at that question often.
Mm-hmm.
But they're like, well, can you take something good from it? Because if you're I also get pissed off when people say, well, like, if you have a positive outlook on life, then you take something good from even bad stuff that happens. I can learn a lesson from bad stuff that happens. It doesn't have to be that I took something good out of it. It could be that I learned that this was bad. But anyways, in that deconstruction phase, which is also a period of time where someone coming out of a cult and going through the deconstruction phase, that's usually a time where they're really at risk of getting into another cult because they're very vulnerable. like psychologically.
Yeah.
But in that deconstruction, there's, for me at least, there was this like period of like, well, if I could find one thing that made sense, then maybe all of it made sense, and I'm wrong and they're right. And then I did find one thing that made sense, and that like gave me a panic attack, because I was like, but what if this made sense? Then everything made sense.
Yeah, so if you've overlooked one thing once, you could have overlooked everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
but you did it. You figured it out by yourself. That's amazing.
Yeah, and I think almost everything in Scientology is complete bunk. And there are two things that I find have been useful. But I also believe that those two things are such basic, they make such logical sense as they are, that I don't think he invented them. I think he stole them.
Is it brush your teeth? That's one. Brush your teeth. That's one me and him can agree on.
It's the ARC triangle. Have you heard of that?
Yes, but only in chalk tag. I think I've my issue with the writings is kind of a bit what you've said. I worry that some of it might make sense to me. I'm just quite scared. It just all sounds weird, and then the bits I have read are like racist or predatory and gross and talking about little kids. It's just everything about the writings gives me the ick, and I'm very interested to hear, because I'm probably not going to read it myself.
So the ARC triangle is this, and I mean, putting it in a triangle as like a diagram, that was pretty clever. I don't think it needs to be that, but it makes it kind of easy to remember. And my brain likes diagrams anyways. But it's basically affinity, reality, and communication. So basically, two people who, you want two people to get along, you have to make sure they're in reality, as in they're in agreement about something, like they in agreement that the sky is blue, grass is green, or they're in agreement about whatever the subject is they're talking about. And then you have affinity, which is just a likingness, and then you have communication, which is, being able to talk. And if you have one of those three that doesn't work, then there's not going to be an understanding between those two people. But you can get them to work by finding out which one of the three is not working. So if you're like not getting along with someone, it might be that you guys have very different points of view on whatever it is you're discussing. And then if you can reach an agreement on the reality, then you can talk about it, and then talking about it will increase the affinity. And it makes sense in that we normally get along with people that share the same interests because our reality is the same. And then when the reality is the same, then we communicate about it, and then that raises our affinity for each other. That to me makes perfect sense. The part of it that doesn't make sense, though, is that he was like, this can solve any argument. I'm like, no, I don't think it can.
No.
I really don't think.
No. You can go to any sports bar and disprove that. Yeah. There's a book. There's a good book I've read.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
I think it's just basic psychology. You find someone that has something that you guys have in common, then you're more likely to get along, and you're more likely to communicate because you have something in common, and then you're more likely to like each other.
I think he was probably just very well read for the time, and plagiarized.
Yeah. I mean, that's just basic psychology, I reckon. like interpersonal relationship psychology or whatever it's called.
There's a book I've got called I think it's called Surrounded by Idiots. But that talks about different no, it's actually really interesting, just talks about different personality types.
Yeah. I'm
And
pretty
how
sure
they
that
get
book
on.
has been debunked though.
What, the Surrounded by Idiots one?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. The thing,
I
this
find
is why I
personality
said
types.
I've read so many books and they all contradict each other. So
I know.
one of my favorite books here, it tells you how to live. 27 conflicting answers and one weird conclusion. Tells you this is a book full of contradictions. No books will help you. They all sound good.
Yeah.
So
I was really big into self-help
yeah.
stuff. Like before I woke up, but when I was struggling a lot. And yeah. I used to listen to a podcast called By the Book, where it's two girls and they would read a self-help book and live by the rules of it for 2 weeks at a time and then discuss how that went. And it was almost always hilarious or tragic outcomes if you live by the rules of the self-help book exclusively.
Yeah, I think everything's it's good in moderation, and you know, we're humans. What can be brilliant one week can be not effective. Oh, I was thinking earlier, the basic thing in that I've done in therapy a lot is around expectations versus reality. And I think that's one that's been around for a while. And that sounds a little bit like what you were describing. It's completely gone out of my head now what you said it was.
The ARC triangle?
Yeah, but which one of them?
Reality and communication.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, if the expectations don't match up with the reality of a situation, that's where a lot of people can get hurt feelings and confusion and not good stuff.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense that it would be the way.
We're going for some thicker lines because the pen was running out. So I got a new pen and now it's going a bit overzealous with the ink, but it's okay.
I think it looks nice.
Thank you. I still don't really know what I'm going to do in here.
You'll figure it out. It'll come to you. I kind of hate it when people say that to me, but I reckon sometimes it's true.
Yeah. I'm very one of my best books on my self-help will help me help myself journey. That didn't work. Save your money, people. Save your money. Unless you like reading and you have no hopes that it will change anything. This is one of my faves. as you can tell, because it
Just,
looks 100 years old. The Tao of Pooh. It's based around Winnie the Pooh, but it's just about
yeah.
going with the flow, not fighting things, not putting all your energy into swimming against the tide. I say as I'm like, yeah, let's fight a cult.
I was in therapy yesterday. It was my last session before summer vacations, and we talked a lot about my need to be like in control. Like
Yeah,
I'm totally swamped at work right now, but I can't ask for help because I'm afraid like they're not gonna do it the way I want it done. And I have to
yeah.
control, like I have to be in control of it. Um,
Why do you need to ask someone?
yeah.
Is it because you're busy? Because you don't have time to do it?
Yeah, I just have too much to do. Um, one of my
So I think,
colleagues is on. Sorry, go on.
sorry,
No, that's okay.
I'd say in my head, the expectation versus reality of that, you're expecting you will do the best job. But in
Yeah,
reality, if you're overworked and don't have the time, you're not going to do it to your normal standard. So if you say, do I want to do it to the standard that I could do it 60%, knowing it's 60%, or ask someone else to do it, and you might need to go in and cross the T's and dot the I's, but at least then you know I did 10%. I had 10% to give. I gave 10%, and that's 10% on me.
yeah. I
You can
think
still give
about
that
it that way.
100% in your 10%, can't you? Oh, shut this window quick. I think we're dry. Okay, we can go out. I don't like asking people because I don't like feeling like I'm a burden,
Yeah,
and I would never ask anyone to like for a favor or to do anything unless I'm 100% going to be able to go, okay, no worries, if they say no.
yeah,
If someone says no, I don't want to, I need to know I can be like, okay, that's fine. That, thank you for being open enough just to tell me no. If I get sad, I
yeah.
just don't ask.
I hadn't thought about that, but I think I am the same. And most of the time, it's really hard for me to ask for help because I feel like I should be able to do it myself.
Should is a
Because
banned
that's,
word in my therapy sessions, by the way. My therapist banned me from using that word. Yes, Milo, I know.
I mean, in the Sea Org, it was like you had to know how to do everything, even if you weren't had it, even if you'd never done that before, you had just better figure it out. I mean, you've been alive for thousands of lifetimes. You've surely done that at some point. So you just gotta do it. Um, yeah. Anyways, we got talking about an incident that that uh, happened with Debbie Cook, and it's I don't know why that particular incident has just stuck in my brain for so long. When most of like all my years in the Sea Org have kind of melted together into one just giant ball of stress and trauma. But that particular incident just it still feels like it just happened yesterday sometimes.
Yeah.
And I've never told anybody about it, but I told her about it, and there's this word in Swedish that is oh, hang on, I just lost the word. I forgot what it was in Swedish. I looked it up on Google to find out what it is in English on Google Translate, and Google Translate says it's annihilate.
Okay.
I don't feel like that. I feel like annihilate is a poor translation, but also makes sense. Nej, Alexander's chatting. Nej, det är inte förinta. Det är... Nej, inte... Tillintetgöra, kan man säga så? Alexander. I think it was tillintetgöra. Yeah. It's not a word I use a lot. But to me, it sounds like it perfectly described what she did to me in that moment, in a way that I don't think annihilate really describes it. But tillintetgöra basically means to make something into nothing. Like,
Yeah.
to crush it into nothing.
Like disintegrate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that whole incident was in a situation where I was supposed to be in control of something, but I wasn't. And she just killed me on the spot, annihilated me on the spot.
Debbie Cook is a witch. She's an evil
She
person.
really is. She really is. I haven't seen the aftermath episode where apparently she was praised. I was kind of surprised when I heard about that on, I think it was Marilyn's channel. Yeah, she was a nasty piece of work.
Yeah, I know. I've heard Serge mention her a lot, and I'm like,
Yeah, someday I'm gonna have to. Oh, I won't have to. But someday I will probably talk about her more, and I might ask Serge to help me out with that.
Yeah, Serge is so strong.
Yeah, he really is.
And wise. I think that would have been my breaking point. Is watching people like Serge not succeed, because I'm not an academically clever person. I was in all of the special classes for the special needs, the slow. You get the picture book. I was in that class. But if I'd have seen the people who have been really dedicated and it not working for them, I think that probably would have made me be questioning stuff. But I reckon I'd have been in trouble all of the time, just constantly lower conditions.
Yeah. Oh, I was constantly in trouble.
You were just inquisitive, and you're not allowed to be curious. And that is one of the most stupid things. Is their whole thing is curious, and it's literally forbidden.
Yeah.
I think Debbie Cook should get her own diss track.
I mean, I'll be the first to admit she was also abused, but the fact that she's living off of their money now is it's unforgivable.
Yeah, there is a difference. I feel like it takes a certain type of person to perpetuate. There's doing stuff like shouting at people or belittling people without realizing that you're doing it, or doing it on command, or doing it and then afterwards saying, I'm so sorry, I didn't really, you can only do better once you know better.
Yeah.
And the discussions between was it Sterling Tompkinson and Lara about growing up, and everyone's had difficult conversations. Nora's had difficult conversations and has apologized for handling. She was made to do, but that's the difference. If at the time you're like, this doesn't feel great, and afterwards you're like, that wasn't, I've gone out and sought the answers and learned, and that wasn't great, and I want to hold myself accountable. If someone doesn't do that, it's hard to have any respect. It's hard to believe, especially when you've already got trust issues because of that person.
Yeah. Oh, do you mean Mike Brown? The video she did with Mike?
Yes, sorry, not Sterling. I was like, I haven't had much sleep over the past few days. I feel like we should get all of the Scientology buildings shut down, and some of them should be kept as like fun houses. Just make them into like ball pits and soft cushions and slides and rope ladders and climbing walls, just for every single bit of childhood joy that has been robbed from those buildings. And I know it won't be the same for everyone who's had it stolen, but just make that free. So every kid in the area, put one in every single country and have that as a free fun house, and then sue the arse off all of them, and then that can keep it all funded for a while. That's my vote. Fun houses.
I think that's a brilliant idea. I've been thinking about protesting and how it would feel, and if I actually dare. I feel like, yeah, I could do that, but then I might totally freak out if I actually need to do that.
You can always leave now. Like it'll be one of two ways. It'll either be very, very scary, and you'll probably take a little bit of time to regroup, and then you'll go and do it again, and you'll do it with a different style, or you'll do it with different, more people, or you'll really surprise yourself the first time and you'll feel so empowered, and you might scream some naughty words, and I'll cheer you on from at home watching. It's that what if game that brains like to play, the what if game.
Yeah.
And I feed it back
Is
with
this a,
such annoying positivity that it doesn't want to play with me anymore.
what if- it's just the one here in Stockholm. It's so small, and it's in such a like a remote kind of place that nobody would notice if I was out there. And nobody would notice except for the Scientologists going in and out. And I would really have to be like, I would have to be there like in the morning when they're arriving for the day. Because that's probably the only time they go in and out, or they go in, and then in the evening when they leave. Yeah, there's no, they don't have a big presence here in Stockholm, which I'm glad for. And I'm also like, give me somewhere better to protest, please.
I think what Balaj Aaron Cubholt,
Yeah, Scientology.
yeah, and Scientology of North, what they're doing and going and asking for the money back, I think that is absolutely brilliant and genius.
Yeah. I love that they're just doing it as well. Like they're not allowed to film anybody or anything, but they're like, okay, well, we'll just sit here and film ourselves and talk and just hope people notice. And that's so brave. Like doing something anyways without knowing if it will even have an effect or not, or what effect it'll have, and just being like, no, I gotta do this. I think that's really brave.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think they're really funny as well. They have a great energy, and
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. Oh, speak of the devil. Elron Hubcult
oh,
is in the chat.
hello.
Hello, hello. Anders Johansson. Hey, hey.
Hey.
And Patrick Skinner.
Hi, Patrick.
So I was trying to Google today what the Swedish laws are regarding chalk tech.
Oh.
Because it might not be like worth my time to stand outside the Stockholm org for hours and not see anybody, but it might be worth my time to go there and write a bunch of stuff in chalk on their sidewalk.
Yeah, I think there is great value in even just showing the empty orgs.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's always better to have something to do, isn't it?
Yeah. But also like the Stockholm org, it's not its own building, and like it's on the third floor of some office building. So I can't even show how empty it is without getting in there, and they know me there.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah. But I could definitely go out there and write some stuff on the sidewalk with them.
And if you can't do anything, they can't stop you painting your own rocks. They've got SBTV rocks here, and you can lay them around. They can't have a go at you for that. And you
Yeah,
do
I gotta
some
figure out
nice
something.
ones. It says
Yeah.
you are loved.
Oh, that's really nice.
And I've got the free Bob Ferris. I'm sure you see it.
Oh,
And
that's
it says
sweet.
his daughter misses him on the back.
Yeah.
Or if you have somewhere to sit, there's no one stopping you from taking your own, like taking a bit of cardboard and painting that up while you're there. Scientology is a cult art. I'm going to take this cardboard with me. I'm not littering. I'm not defacing
Yeah.
anything. It's my cardboard.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like if you were interested and when you maybe feel a bit more comfortable, there's got to be so many people in the ADHD and ADHD community that would feel very passionately about the way you were treated, and essentially made to feel the alienation, and just all of the negative things you were made to feel just for being as you are.
Yeah.
So yeah, I know there's a lot of creators. I forgot. I said I was going to send you that the link, the YouTube link to that creator, and then I completely forgot.
Oh, how to ADHD.
Yes, that was it.
Yeah.
Oh, did I just say and you remembered? That's brilliant.
I actually started following her a while back, but I haven't watched when I first got curious and I was like looking for information. Then I found her, but I haven't actually watched anything in probably over a year.
She has that wall of awful. That's a really, really fantastic explanation. The wall of awful. There's also Hayley Honeyman. I think Hayley
I
Honeyman.
reckon so.
I think she's pretty good for the sort of combination for the ADHD.
Okay. Check it out.
There's lots of people. There's lots of people. There's an Australian guy who I can't remember his name. But yeah, I just think your experience is just very, very unique and powerful.
Colt says, Bianca, maybe we can jump over to Stockholm for a day on one of the weekends. That would be very exciting. But you know what? I'm gonna put up pictures of the Stockholm org, and you guys will see how boring it will be to gather outside there. But we should do something. They shouldn't be giving me just because they have a boring office.
I took too long finding my sponge and the paint's dried. It'll be okay.
I really like what you do now. It looks really cool.
This is the sort of sponges you'd get if you could grow the loofah. It'd be a bit dense, a bit looser fibre than this. This is dense, but this is the sort of thing that I would use the loofah for. I will try again on my loofah quest, but until I can have the space to. I don't know. We get like 2 weeks of summer here now in England.
Yeah. It does rain. Well, okay, so I've been to London twice, and both times I've been, it was sweltering hot all through the days, and then it just poured like buckets of rain all through the nights.
Oh, that's nice. Oh, unless you're on the tube. The tube's disgusting. The tube
Yeah.
is,
Well,
yeah, the worst.
yeah. Well, the one here in Stockholm is also pretty bad in the summer.
Are you
You know,
by
I used to
the?
drive the tube.
You used to drive what? Sorry.
I used to drive the subway trains here in Stockholm.
Oh, did ya?
Yeah.
How was that? Was that fun?
No,
Oh.
it's horrible.
I was thinking, I was like, oh.
It's really fun, like the first 3 months, and then it's just so boring. um, it's just the same thing over and over and over. You know, you drive back and forth
Yeah.
for 8 hours a day, and I did that for 7 years.
Oh, yeah. I guess. Yeah, that would be. Yeah, that would be enough.
Yeah.
I don't mind repetitive things, but I think I kind of like the thought of making them, like making a game out of it. Like, you know, if
Sure.
I'm sort of doing the laundry, can I do this in a way that would make it quicker or more fun, or do it in a way that's going to be interesting to my brain?
Yeah.
But you can't really do that, can you, if you're driving a train?
No, it's not much you can do. It's just gas, brake, open the doors, close the doors. That's about it.
Are you by that big? It's like a big horn that goes off. I'm not sure if it's like a weather alert or emergency alert.
Yeah. What do you mean?
Is there like a? I'm not sure if it's like a weather system alert horn that goes off in Stockholm.
Oh, maybe you're talking about Hesa Fredrik. That's like a an air raid alarm that they
Yeah.
test it on Monday at 3 p.m. It used to be once a month, but now it's once every 3 months.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard that one time and I was
Thinking.
like, what on earth is happening? How worried do I need to be?
Yeah, that's like a remnant from World War II. And maybe World War One, I guess. Yeah. No, that's an air. There are different signals for different types of attacks as well. And yeah, they used to try them every first Monday of the month at 3 p.m. and now they try them every 3 months, I think. Yeah, 4 times a year.
Yeah, I would have been voting for once every 3 months. If they had a citizens vote on that, I'd be like, once every 3 months is more than enough, thank you.
Yeah. Alexandra said in the chat that she thought the trains were automatic. No, they are not. It's a driver. At least in Stockholm, it's still a driver. I think in Copenhagen they have automatic trains. Yeah. I mean, I did try to make driving the train into something of a game. I tried to drive it like really smooth.
Yeah.
But I mean, because I get car sick easily, or like motion sick. Like I can get motion sick in the tube if the
Oh
driver is a bad
dear.
driver. Yeah. So when I was a driver, that was like I tried to drive as smooth as possible.
Yeah.
I was driving nights a lot for a while, and one time someone left like a bottle of beer that I could see from the door out to the passenger area from the driver's space. There was a little window in that, and I could see the bottle of beer on the floor. And I had this like challenge to myself, like how long can I drive without it falling over?
That's so
And
cool.
I kind
Yeah.
of so I just kept checking like every now and then. It was just still sitting there. And I drove like an hour and a half, and then somebody picked it up and drank it. And I was like, gross. And also not fair. That was my entertainment for the evening.
Yeah. You spoiled my fun to be gross. That's not okay.
Yeah, that's not okay. Hello, Jürgen. Jürgen in the chat.
Hi again. I was trying to read the chat, but oh yeah, we've got the metro up north in Newcastle has metro, and then London South has a tube, and then the middle has nothing.
Really?
No, we've got like trains and buses, but there's no tubes or undergrounds or anything here. And these to
Well, I think
dry. This is
Stockholm
where
is.
I've got.
Oh, that's so pretty.
Can we not? What? If this is you growling at your own foot, yeah, yeah, at his own foot. He's here. I will show you. No one's touching him.
Oh.
He's growling at his own foot. Dog's got issues. It's okay.
That's okay. Please.
One of his back feet, he's got a problem with. The other one, fine. That happy as a clam. The other one, he's like, "What are you doing there?" Every now and then, just.
My dog growls when she hears people in the stairwell. I live in an apartment building, so there are gonna be people in the stairwell every now and then. And I mean, she's a tiny little thing, but she hears somebody in the stairwell and she's like, "I will protect you." It just goes insane.
Yeah, I think if out of any of my animals, the one that is most likely to sink their teeth into you is going to be my ferret.
Yeah.
You won't even see it
Oh,
coming;
yeah.
it'll just get along it. Well, yeah, my dogs are all good babies. Switch back to this. Oh. Oh, did I show you the heart one I did the other day?
Mm-hmm.
That one.
Oh yeah, I saw it. It's so beautiful. It's very nice.
Yeah. There's lots of different styles you can do with the neurographic art. You can once you get comfortable doing it, you'll yeah, be able to have a fun time. Oh,
Did you see Oh No, Nora's stream on death in Scientology?
I can't remember.
Yeah.
I've not been on that much the past few days.
She did a stream talking about how Scientology, as a Scientologist, when someone dies, usually like how do you react? How does a Scientologist react? And she also read up the funeral service, the Scientology funeral service thing.
Yeah, no, it's on my watch later. I didn't.
Yeah.
Was it quite accurate to your experience?
Yes. I would say very accurate. There's not any grieving of death in Scientology. In part because you just consider that the person that's just dropped the body, that's not a dramatic thing for Scientologists. And also because grieving is far down on the tone scale.
Yeah. They don't teach you through like a healthy way, like, oh, you've turned 8. Let's get you a goldfish and teach you healthy coping mechanisms of loss and grief and saying goodbye to, you know, an animal. We'll start you off that way. No, no, no. We will tell everyone you know and love to smoke, and they will have a life expectancy much shorter than everybody else, and then we'll tell you to get over it. It's inherently disgusting and predatory and abusive.
Yeah.
It's just how do I remove the will to live for the sake of joy and curiosity, replace that with indoctrination of you will dedicate the rest of all of your lives. I mean, that's so like it's just taking away everything and then being like, this is going to be it for 1 billion years.
Yeah.
Like, it's hope. It's hope. He steals hope. It's hope.
I mean, he doesn't want you to be human. Like HENR, that's human emotion and reaction.
Yeah.
That's a bad word in Scientology. HENR. That's like if you're having a reaction, a human emotion and reaction, and they just say knock off your HENR. They don't want you to be human. They want you to be a robot.
I think that's actually what. Can you remember the guy who got in Lara's face outside Big Blue, and he was like hitting the top of his cap into her head. It was horrible to watch. But she said it's HENR. HENR of you. Get your TRs in. And you see him then sort of. It was almost like hitting a switch where it was like must conform to training routines.
Oh my god.
I haven't seen so that one. Weird.
I don't watch
that was
the protesting videos at all because they tend to trigger me.
Yeah.
And
no,
also and also my ADHD does not like I can't focus on them. I just start thinking about other things. I don't know. I really love that there are protests all over the place. I think it's so awesome. But that's why I try to watch Natalie's channel to get the highlights, because I haven't been able to make myself watch them on my own.
Yeah, this one was like probably January, February time.
Yeah.
It was a while ago. Oh no, yeah. Yep, yeah. But yeah, I think he'd been in an argument with someone before he left the building. But yeah, it is. You can see it's almost like an insult. Like, you're being human. You got your human reactions. Like, how dare you? It's like, no,
Yeah.
it's happening. And it's okay. But yeah,
Yeah,
Elrond
that's what the TRs
redefined.
do. They take away your reaction. They teach you to not react. They don't teach you to communicate. They teach you to turn to not be human.
Mm. It's so weird.
It is.
It's just, yeah.
It is weird. Sometimes you just have to laugh at it.
Yeah. Yeah, whenever I'm like, just, oh God, like, oh yeah, they, the popsicle people story, or the story of the implant station behind the moon, and it's like, yeah, this is real. This is, yeah, it's not gonna make sense. It's not a me thing. It's a this thing.
Yeah. Okay, I was really liking this, but now I'm not so sure if I like it anymore.
Oh dear.
But I'm gonna keep going, and we'll see.
It's not done until it's done, and if you don't like it, it means it's not done. And I would invite you to pick a few colours that you like, and add more. I know sometimes people say, "Oh, less is more," but sometimes more is more.
Yeah,
Oh, get
it
me.
really depends. I'm
I
really
have too
excited to
many
start doing
pads.
the lines.
This one here. So yeah, the one of Serge I did. So you can just pick a pen, black pen, gold pen, silver pen, and just doing these little swirls or dots or lines or whatever you want to do, and just pick a few to do that in. This one here is quite a good technique. You just do a circle and then colour in around the circles.
Yeah,
I
that is gorgeous.
I have a better thing, but the last time I took this off the wall to show, I think I was going to show Tilty Bird, and I pulled it too hard and I ripped a chunk of my wallpaper off the wall. So I'm just going to make my way over and show you quick. So one like this.
Yeah. Oh, look at that. That's...
So yeah, it can be quite. This is like therapeutic again to do these sort of effects.
Yeah.
If you thought I'm not quite done, but I'm not happy with it, or there's this one here that has a. Let me see. It has the.
yeah,
I just
awesome.
did gold, and then these are like tree slices.
Okay.
So there's loads of things you can play with once you're done.
Yeah. All right. I will not give up hope just yet.
No. And I think I've done 2 different styles as well on here because there are no rules and I don't care. But it'll be good
Yeah.
to show you. Oh, and I've zoomed in. So up here, I've sort of followed the lines and done the rounding off. But then at some
Yeah.
point down here, I decided to change to a different style where you go round.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So there's one where you actually go, I forgot which pen I'm using. Is this one? Where you go down the lines and you follow all the lines down like that. And you get this sort of more boxy one. Or you can decide to go around all of them individually and just pick the shape you want.
Yeah. And then just
Pick
make
the
it that.
shape. So this you'll see is a lot more you have a lot more in the black, but it's just different styles that you can do it in. Sometimes you like to switch in between the old ADHD, keep stimulated. So you see this is you're just going afterwards and colouring all them. Amateur tip: when the pen is done, throw the pen away so that you don't keep using the same pen that has no ink in. All I can see is a boomerang now. This purple thing's just making me think of a boomerang. Oh. Just having a look at chat. Yeah, no, there's Patrick was just saying about the drop in the body. I'm not sure if you read that. I'm just really behind in chat. Yeah, it's really sad. I know I've heard that some people don't even know when someone's passed away because everyone's so secretive and people think they've just been moved like up line or.
Oh, yeah. People just disappear and you never know what happened to them. and it's a very weird kind of stress, I guess. I don't even know how to describe it, but it's just the idea that people can disappear and you'll never find out what happened to them.
And you can't ask, and you might get in trouble if you do ask.
Yeah. And it just makes you kind of paranoid for yourself. Be like, if I disappear, is anyone
Gonna ask?
know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is anyone gonna ask?
Oh.
Yeah. It's I remember having a lot of anxiety about not knowing what happened to people that just disappeared. And yeah, it felt very threatening to me.
It's probably another form of control, isn't it? Just that fear.
Yeah.
The fear of the unknown. Yeah. And that's just weird. That's so weird that, like, that's weirdness that you can pick up on as a kid.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes they'll be very vocal, like if they send someone to the RPF. And like it always depends. It depends on like who the exec is, like who's in charge at the time. And it depends on like what crime was committed, supposedly, or for reals. And you know, sometimes there would be announcements, oh, this person got sent to the RPF because they're such a bad person. They did this and this and this. But then there would also be people that just disappear. And like sometimes when I was sick a lot when I was in the Sea Org. But sometimes when I was sick and I would be at the hacienda, and I would see the RPF run by, and then I'd see somebody and I'm like, oh my god, that's where that person is that I haven't seen in like 3 years, and I had no idea what happened to them.
Did you get in trouble for being sick a lot? Did you like PTS or?
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of people who are on the spectrum who do have are more likely to have like dietary problems, digestive problems, stuff like, you know, Ehlers-Danlos syndromes, hyperflexibility, things like dyspraxia. We're very clumsy. We don't have great spatial awareness. So just for natural illnesses and injuries down to clumsiness, I'm just having like actual, feels like a gut punch for what you must have been penalized for just being someone who's born and who's a bit, you know, different.
Yeah, I'm not very clumsy, but clumsy enough to have issues, I guess. But yeah, I got sick a lot. Turns out I was PTS to Scientology.
Yeah.
Because after I don't get sick as often anymore.
I think, yeah, if you don't allow yourself to stim, and if you repress everything, and you have been trained from a child to, you know, fawn is the only acceptable response to a stressful situation, then you just internalize it. You're gonna get, you know, digestive problems. You know, you might get it's a lot of it is digestive problems. We didn't get a great great end of the deal there. It is, a lot of it is digestive, but it can be stuff like anxiety, like fast heartbeats, low blood pressure, low heart rate, there's so much stuff that can come along with suppressing stims, like self-stimulated, self-regulatory behaviour. So yeah, it literally was them
Yeah, I
making me
got a
sick.
lot of. I would get the flu like 3 times a year, and I would get bronchitis and strep throat very often as well. And
Yeah,
yeah, I was always getting in trouble for being sick.
it just baffles
And that's
me.
also like, who are you going to be PTS to if you were raised in the Sea Org and you're only surrounded by Scientologists? You don't have any contact with anybody that isn't a Scientologist. Who are you supposed to be PTS to?
Yeah,
But I reckon it was just stress. I was just
yeah,
constantly under so much stress that my immune system couldn't handle it.
yeah. It's so disgusting.
When I was 13, I think I was sick for like 4 months before they took me to the doctor, and I had
No,
bronchitis. Yeah.
that's insane. Did you complain, or did you just, or you like, no, I'll just suffer in silence for as long as I can?
No, you just suffer in silence. When I was in the Sea Org, if I was sick for more than 2 weeks, they would take me to the doctor because, the captain needed her servants, so
Yeah.
they had to get me better and back on place.
But as a child, you can't work the same amount of hours. They're like, no, you can just suffer for weeks.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
Yeah. Okay, I'm filling in the lines and rounding corners now. I'm really liking it.
Yeah, it's satisfactory part. My dog's snoring away.
Patrick Skinner says food quality can affect the health systems. I agree. I think compared to some other Sea Org bases, Flag had kind of okay food. Oh, I can hear myself in the background again.
Oh,
Sounds really funny.
is that better?
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I think we kind of had okay food at Flag compared to other horror stories I've heard from other bases, especially after the CB was renovated. So the CB is the Clearwater Bank building. I don't think they use it for a staff dining room anymore. But in the old protest videos that Mark Bunker has been putting up, a lot of those were outside the CB. And that was just this massive building where the front of it, that's like a historical Bank of Clearwater building. There they just had like this fancy office that people could walk in off the street. I think they have a testing center there now. And above it was the OSA office, but then there was 2 floors of this dining room for the staff. And when that was first renovated, there was some order from some executive that was like, okay, we're only going to do proper foods. We're not going to do bad food anymore. And the food did get better then for a bit. But it was also like CB used to be the geo flag officer. Yeah. Guardian's office. That's OSA these days. Yeah, they used to sit up there and watch the news and read newspapers. I was never allowed in there though. And right, but there wasn't always enough food. So like if you were late to dinner, maybe you didn't there wasn't enough left for you to eat. So you had to go eat rice and beans because that was all that was left. And only rice for everybody in Denmark. Elron Hubcolt. Elron Hubcolt, I have a question for you because this was probably before your time. But for a while in Denmark, I heard that all they got for lunch for like years was bread with liver pate, because that was all they could afford for lunch. So if you know anything about that, Elron Hubcolt, let me know. Apparently nobody got sick during that time because liver pate is really healthy. But I don't really believe that. Patrick Skinner said the second floor safe was enclosing 4 rooms with a connecting short hall. Probably was. I was never allowed in up there though. Patrick Skinner, are you ex-Sea Org from Flag? Maybe?
Patrick Skinner is ex Scientologist. I'm not sure ex Sea Org.
I used to hide in the Crystal Ballroom. Sorry, what?
So I said they mod for Keith who audits Philly and DC.
Oh. Elron Hubcolt says 2018 was bread and cheese.
Oh dear. All the lactose intolerant people. You're not telling me not one of them people are lactose intolerant?
Yeah, I'm lactose intolerant too. But now that I think about it, the bread and liver pate years was before I left the Sea Org, so that would have been in the 1990s something. Patrick Skinner left 82, 83 from the Sea Org. All right, that's when I was born, in 82. So I wasn't in the Sea Org then yet. I used to hide in the Crystal Ballroom. Did you know that there's a hidden door behind one of the big paintings in the Crystal Ballroom? Which I never went through, but I used to hide up there when I was working. So there weren't as many security cameras up there.
I can't remember I heard say that the tunnels were blocked off because people were getting romantic in there. Sea Org members were getting romantic in the tunnels under is it between AOLA? The tunnels going between everywhere. You know, the ones between it was the old hospital, Big Blue.
Oh, we didn't have secret tunnels at Flag. I wish we had.
No, not Flag. I'm on about the Big Blue because it used to be a hospital, and they said they had the tunnels there, but then they had to shut the tunnels down because the 2D flowing was overflowing into the tunnels. Oh, silly.
Oh my god. Yeah, well, can't have any 2D flowing. That's dangerous. So,
That's too human of you to be attracted to another human.
yeah. Oh man. There was this one executive that she was always on me for 2D flowing, and like I don't even know how to flirt with someone.
Yeah.
Like I'm too awkward to do that even. And she was constantly telling me that I was 2D flowing. I mean, according to her, I was 2D flowing everything and everyone that walks, but um, one time I was in trouble, of course, and I was doing mess work with another girl, and we were out in the gardens at the hacienda um, doing gardening work, and she was wearing a sports bra, which was very daring for a CU member. Like she was wearing shorts and a sports bra. She was quite flat chested,
Yeah.
and I guess that was okay. I'm not flat chested. I was wearing a sports bra and a tank top on top that was apparently too tight because that executive that was always accusing me of titty flowing, she told me I was dressed like a hooker and I had to do
Oh
an extra 10
dear.
hours at the store. Yeah. So I think maybe she likes me. Maybe she was flirting with me.
Yeah. I think I'm going to go back to this one quickly, and I'm going to do some.
Skinner says the Crystal Ballroom at the top floor of the FH was FSO course room, and Diana had an apartment up there. That's old school. That's really old school. Because I remember watching events up there when I was a little kid, the New Year's event especially, and when I was on the EPF, I once did housekeeping in the apartment up there. That was the Pence house. That was where the celebrities stayed.
I'm not sure if you've seen. There's a guy who's protesting in Berlin.
No, I haven't seen it.
His handle's at Hardmet LA, and his name is Wolf in Squirrel's Clothing. He's protesting outside the Berlin org, and they were advertising free personality tests and free beauty tests. Is that something
Beauty
you've
test?
seen? Free beauty tests. Like, we're going to tell you how clever and how pretty you are. Come here. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. What your reaction was my reaction. I was like, come again.
Okay, that's 2D flowing, if anything. I mean,
Yeah, that's what I'm like. That surely. So if someone comes in, you meant to be like, oh, we got a perfect 10 here. Like,
oh my
I don't
god,
know.
that's insane.
Is that something you've heard? Because that's the only place I've seen it, heard of it, of personality test and a beauty test was Berlin, Germany.
Oh my god, no, that's insane. You know what? Because I've seen things that I've been like, that never happened when I was in, maybe, or that I know of. And I feel like they're shrinking so fast that they're just trying anything to get more people in. And I feel like this could be one of those things that they're just like, oh my god, we need more people. How do we get more people?
I think they tried the modelling and acting and all that stuff in LA.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not sure what about
Oh, that's just insane.
Germany.
That's the weirdest.
I think they flicked paint on my phone. Yes. Yes. This is my Galaxy theme. It's not.
Patrick, you guys used to race the elevator down from the Crystal Ballroom to what floor? Walking past the elevator. You know, one time when I was on the EPF when I was 12, the first time I was on the EPF, there was an event going on, and they were using the Crystal Ballroom for something, and the service elevator broke, and we had to bring, like, we had all these like hors d'oeuvres and stuff that had to go from the restaurant, the Hibiscus, I think it was called, the restaurant on the mezzanine level outside the auditorium. That's like on like floor 1.5, and we had to run up the service stairs all the way to the 10th floor. I think I did like 10 runs before I was allowed to take a break. Up and down, up and down. So going up carrying massive platters of food. And then it became like a game with the EPFIC. He was like, oh, you guys manage that. So from now on, you guys never take the elevator. So every time we were going up to the Crystal Ballroom, we had to run up the 10 flights of stairs.
That's no. No.
There used to be a joke in the cadet org that if you went to the EPF, you got really good at basketball because they used to wear these big, heavy combat boots on the EPF. And you had to run everywhere, and you had to run up 10 flights of stairs. So, like, the joke was that you would get really good at basketball because you have really strong legs, so you could jump really high.
Oh, but like, didn't escape this place and climb the wall. That's how you know that they know they've got a cult, because if you've got the barbed wire facing in, you know you're trying to stop people getting out. Like, you know that. You're aware of that. I don't really know what I'm doing here. I'm just sort of winging it.
That's okay. It's looking really nice. I really like it.
Thank you. I just thought a quick little spacey theme without making it too
I think space is so beautiful, but it makes me kind of like claustrophobic. I don't know if I don't think claustrophobic is the right word. But just thinking of like all the space in space makes me feel kind of dizzy if I think about it too much. But I also think it's so beautiful.
Yeah. I can't grasp the like how far away from the moon we are. Like, I'm like, no. I don't get it, and that's okay.
No. Yeah. Yeah. The vastness of it. It's
so big, and you're so small, and
yeah. I wonder if that's why people find it so fascinating.
Yeah, I like listening to Neil deGrasse Tyson doing like space talk, and yeah, you learn so much. So, did you learn much about space, or is it just sort of Auron's version of?
No, I didn't. I wouldn't say I learned any facts about space when I was in. I never really considered it as a subject while I was in either, because I don't know. Maybe because I just was like, when I was in, it didn't feel like a mystery, or didn't feel like something. It just felt like, oh yeah, well that's just another place that we'll go to later. When we're OT, we'll go there. So it can wait. I don't need to learn about it now.
Yeah, and then again, yeah, you're just going to come back life after life after life that you don't have when you're in that mindset.
Yeah. I mean, the idea of like aliens and stuff like that was never foreign or weird. Even before I knew about the Xenu story. Because, I mean, there's like a famous quote where Hubbard says, like, okay, I'll see you at Target 2. And we knew that that was out on another planet. So that wasn't weird for us. Yeah. I wasn't surprised at all by the Xenu story. I was like, yeah, that tracks. That makes sense in the Scientology mindset.
That is one thing that does shock me, is how you can be like, well, no, yeah, I think it has been answered that a lot of people who do believe everything, like on all the OT levels, also believe that a lot of his fantasy is fiction is just labelled like sci-fi, but it is actually based on real memories he has from previous lives.
Yeah.
But it's shocking that someone who's like a self-proclaimed published science fiction writer can then be like, oh, Xenu, oh no, he's legit, he's the real deal.
Yeah. Patrick Skinner asked, did you ever hear about Int Base Over the Rainbow Gold? Over the Rainbow, I have never heard of, but Int Base, yeah, and Gold, of course. Actually, the Flag Cadets, we were always told that we were the worst cadet org, and that the Int Base cadet org, the Int Ranch, was the best cadet org, and that we should be more like them. So I always had beef with the Int Ranch kids, just because we were always told we weren't as good as they were. But I have never heard of Over the Rainbow, except for that song from The Wizard of Oz. So if you want to tell me about that, I would be very interested, Patrick. Sometimes I find the old-timer stories to be just crazy. Like stories from the Apollo and stuff. There used to be I don't think they publish it anymore, and I'm pretty sure it would be quite hard to get a hold of. But there used to be this book called Have You Lived Before This Life? That was supposed to be stories of past lifetimes that people had remembered in auditing.
Oh.
And one of the cadet coordinators used to read that to us when we went camping. He used to read it to us as like fireplace ghost stories, kind of. I remember in that book there was a story of someone who got beheaded, and like describes their beheading.
Oh wow!
In detail. And I also remember a story about a guy who was not on Earth. He was like on a different planet, and he was like running away from like police or military or something. And he had this magic power that he could camouflage himself into the wall. So he was like standing at a wall and like camouflaged himself into the wall. I don't know how accurate those memories are, though.
Yeah.
In space is a secret. Yeah, I had no idea where In Space was, except for that it was in California. And that the ranch kids were much better than us. Or our ethics flag cadets.
I think that's just a disgusting thing that they do, is just to turn and use people against each other.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah, sad.
I do think the Int kids had it harder than we did.
Yeah, it was like a working ranch, like you know, they do like those. It's like bad camps for bad kids, and that's really disgusting.
Yeah.
But it was like there was like a big thing of it, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Like camp for troubled teens and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Where they
Yeah, and I think the In Base probably had some adults that were more harsher, or I don't know. But also I think the flag cadet went through like the flag cadet went through like a metamorphosis over time, because the older cadets, they were like super serious and hardcore Sea Org members before they were in the Sea Org. And a lot of them went on to be like RTC and CMO. And then my age group, most of us were like in the flag service org, and we were not as hardcore. And then in the age group under me, a lot of those kids never went to the Sea Org, or they went to the Sea Org and they left really quickly. And I think that had something to do with like, after a certain year, we weren't getting in small children anymore. We were getting, because first they changed the rule to just have to be 6 to join the Sea Org. And so we didn't get anybody under the age of 6. And then it was changed to 11. So we didn't get any new kids under the age of 11. And as you have kids that are born in or raised from like very, very young ages, they're much more indoctrinated by the time they get to their teens. And then you have somebody coming in at like 11. They're not like, as indoctrinated into the early teens. And then the cadet coordinators at Flag, they kept being sent to the RPF. Like I know 3 that were sent to the RPF. So it was,
and they don't
also
tell
like
anyone why either.
No. So there was always like it was quite unstable. Like the power structures were always fluctuating, I guess you could say. And the flag cadet, in part because we had older kids coming in that already like knew what life was like on the outside, and they weren't indoctrinated from babies, and in part because every other year or so the coordinator would be sent to the RPF, and then there would be like a vacancy for a while. And so, yeah, when I was leaving the Sea Org, the Flag Cadet Org was mostly just a bunch of rebels, which is awesome. I don't think the In Ranch had a chance to do that because I think all the In Ranch kids were there from such young ages, you know, and they didn't really have that influx of new blood in the same way I think the Flag Cadet Org did.
Yeah, I think if you've got children especially and you do nothing but punish them and tell them that their best isn't good enough, it's going to get to a point where it's like, fine, I'm not going to try, and also up yours, deal with my attitude. So yeah, it's a shame because it's not like they were all then really badly behaved for, you know, David Miscavige or Aaron Hubbard. No, they were badly behaved for other probably very young people. Who weren't the parents. Yeah, real
I filled
difficult.
in all my lines now. It's not bad actually. It is okay. Patrick said the in-base didn't have any public on-base different. Yeah, Flag was very different because Flag was, I mean, mostly only geared to be servicing public. So, yeah, there would be a difference there. We were always told Golden in-base was like a utopia because everybody there was OT and on source. So there was no like aberrations and no bank in case on post at the in-base or at gold. Which then turned out to be kind of the opposite. I mean, they were doing insane stuff. Or David Miscavige was doing insane stuff at the in-base.
I really hope he gets what's coming to him in these court cases.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was that might have been done actually. Do you watch Jacob Harkey?
No?
He's in LA. He covers. He goes into quite a lot of the cases and then comes out and tells us what's happened inside. I've been watching his sort of updates and coverage on the Jane Doe's versus the RTC and also Leah Remini's case. What was going on there? But yeah, he sort of covers all of it.
I don't keep up with...
nothing. Sorry.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
I was going to say, if nothing else, it's good to be able to refer to it as like an active case going on now.
Yeah. I really don't keep up with even a fraction of SPTV. This is just there's so much.
Yeah.
To keep up with, which is amazing. It's so cool. But yeah, I can't keep up with it.
Do you have a special interest? Do you have something that you just you like to sort of learn about or do?
In regards to SPTV or in regards
No,
or just in general?
More regards to being sort of neurodiverse, I guess. We just tend to gravitate towards certain subjects and really, really like and can talk about it for 4 hours.
Yeah. I usually have something. So right now I'm really into strength training.
Yeah,
which is weird, but
I bet you could tell me all the benefits it'll do for my life.
Yep. And like talk a whole bunch about how to build muscle and how you should do the exercises and the tempo and the set numbers and the repetition numbers and the weights and yeah.
Yeah. So the way your brain sort of focuses, and it's like having a good meal. It just eats up the
Yeah.
information and then it nourishes you, and then you're like, I'll tell someone else, I'll nourish them. That's
Yeah.
what like the hyper focus is, when you have a special interest. ADHD special interests sort of come and go. It's more sort of like hobbies, but sort of the more autistic side has sort of their long-term ones. Yeah, my long-term one's been just anti-high control group. So that's been Scientology, Mormonism, Jehovah's Witness, Amish, MLM schemes. You know,
Oh
any sort of
God.
high
Yeah.
control group. I just want that was my jam. Like and psychology for the last,
Yeah.
I'd say maybe 8 years. I've been really. That's my thing that I just could talk 8 hours a day about and not get bored. I could just listen. I could listen to Tori McGo. I could listen
Yeah.
to her for like if I was going to get on a flight, if I had to do like a 24-hour flight and I could only listen to one person.
Yeah.
Like,
It would
and
be
I sit like
boring.
this. I'm like,
Yeah.
and I forget. I'm like, oh, comment in chat for the algorithm.
I would say my
But yeah,
interests tend to vary. I tend to come back to similar things. So I do a lot of like um, crafty things. Like I tend to come back to
yeah.
crocheting and knitting.
Oh, I have
I
so much. If you ever
yeah.
have the patience and desire to teach someone with very useless, clumsy hands, I've tried to crochet so many times. I've tried a lot of times to crochet, but it doesn't. My hands don't like it. I can knit just about,
Yeah.
but I'm not sure how, because I've seen people, right-handed and left-handed people, both go, "You're not doing it my way, but you've made something." So
I had a lady tell me I was holding my needles wrong in the subway. I was sitting in the subway. Actually, I was crocheting, so it's a hook, right? And I was sitting
mm,
there crocheting, and she was like looking at me, and I could tell. In peripheral vision, I could tell she was looking at me. And then, like after a while, I looked up because she was just staring at me, and she's like, "You're holding the hook wrong." And I was like, "Okay, but this is how I hold it." She was like, "No, it's
you're
wrong."
having a go at a stranger on the tube.
It's just
Oh,
insane.
yeah. There's something I want to get a. I'll show you. I've got a butch room. I've got a crocheted butch room. It's hilarious. I have to show you that next time if you like
Yeah,
crocheting things. That's it's like it's a mushroom, but it's got a
yeah.
butch room. So silly. So yeah, that's I want to do that, and I want to crochet a booby beanie in honor of Nance Drew. Wear that in
Yeah,
solidarity. I have to go
yeah.
to the org. I have to go to the Birmingham org wearing my booby beanie and be like, ask Chadwick. Chadwick pulled me in. Ask Chadwick why I'm here in a swirl costume and a booby beanie on my head.
Mm. That probably isn't very hard to do. I'm sure we could teach you how to do that.
I've got my whole head of locks as well, so I'm going to need a rather large booby beanie.
Mm. That's true.
But
Yeah.
yeah, no, I'd love to learn.
um, I think sometimes you gotta find the way that works. Like I know, like I don't hold the hook the way you're supposed to hold the hook. I don't care. That's the way that works for me. I also know when I knit, I don't hold the yarn the way you're supposed to hold the yarn. But I'm like, well, that's the way I do it. So yeah,
I
yeah.
do when I knit, I do like this, and then when it goes onto there, I have to swap it back over, and then hold it again. and then I can't be like, do that way, then do this way. It's like, no, one hand is good for holding, the other one can do the other stuff.
Well, that is how you knit. You swap it when you get, yeah. Although I've heard you can.
Some
just go
people knit
back and
forwards
forth.
and they just do that. And that's apparently how you do it. Apparently you're not
That's
meant to do that every time. I've been told off. It doesn't matter, it works. It's still like a scarf at the end.
Yeah, yeah.
Can't tell me
Yeah.
a scarf's not a scarf.
Yeah, I'm currently knitting, not knitting, crocheting. I have it here because it's on my kitchen table all the time. It's going to be a tree.
Oh,
Rather tall one.
nice.
We have these in the staff kitchen at my work. We have these sound absorber panels to like, so it doesn't echo as much, and they're just gray canvas, and that's it. So me and some coworkers, we started knitting or crocheting flowers and pinning them up on these. Just and now we've
That's
got
nice.
this whole theme going. So the first panel is spring, the second panel is summer, because there are 4 of them, and this is going to be an oak tree for fall.
Oh, nice. That's so cute. Yeah. That's amazing. That's like a nice little collage of all your talents. I like that.
Yeah, it's really fun.
Yeah. Excuse me. Yes, puppy. I wanted attention. Got pup cam being like, stroke me. You're gonna fall off the bed trying to get me to stroke her.
Oh.
I think I'm gonna go run. Must be getting late your time as well. When nearly 8:30 my time.
Yeah, I'm an hour ahead of you, so it's 9:20. Look at the cute dog.
Yes, puppy. Yes, puppy.
All right, can I show you my piece?
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Oh, nice. I like the background. Like it's like a ombre. Is it ombre?
Yeah.
Effect. That's lovely.
It didn't come out as smooth as I want, but I could probably fix that with like a Q-tip. Kind of rub it out a little bit more.
Yeah. It's not done until it's done.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm quite happy though, and I think I got to try my idea as well. I think this one's dried. Yeah, still a little bit wet, but yeah, I'm gonna try my idea on this background, and we'll see how it goes.
Oh, so that's where I've got with my whatever I was doing there, like space, galaxy space theme.
It's really nice. I like it.
Did a thing, and then I need to finish the inside, the innards of the last one we did. I don't know what I'm doing yet.
Yeah, I really like the colors.
Thank you. Yeah, that'll be a to be continued.
All right, should we wrap this up for today?
Yeah, I think that's probably about 2.5 hours now.
Yeah.
Go give my legs a stretch, get a warm drink for my voice. But thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah, thank you for joining, and thank you for getting me back into art. That means a lot.
I'm really glad. I think you'll pick it up and get into it, and just it can do so much. And you've definitely got natural talent, and I hope you're gonna get some materials in there and do a nice textured piece. I'm very looking forward to it.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much. And thank you to everybody in the chat as well. And I'm going to see if I can figure out how to turn this off because I'm the one streaming.
X. Just press the X. Bye. Thank you everyone for joining.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye.